Well, good morning, everyone. It is Monday, whatever the date is. It seems like every day is the same. But Bob and I are back again with today's antidote. Just an
You're
opportunity.
getting better and better at saying that, Tom. It's taking you a week, but you're getting solid.
There's something about when you slow down, and you really try to enunciate, you can actually say words the way they're supposed to be said. It's an amazing thing.
Wait, the whole idea of slowing down and enunciating, could we translate that to what we're doing right now in the world?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You know, it's funny. I had to do that with my business last year. I was like, okay, I got to go after every shiny object and everything that was going on. And my coach was like, whoa, I love the fact that you love being busy all the time, but maybe we need to slow down and focus. Hmm.
I'm seeing, and we didn't know what we were going to talk about today, Tom. That's amazing. And we're already getting these gems. We should also say, Tom is the only face you see today. It's not because I had a face removal over the weekend. There are some rumors of that. There's also rumors that I'm getting work done because WABC or one of the big networks has called me. That is not true to my knowledge either. It's just I'm doing some prep work for my mother to hopefully sell her house and had to be out of the office this morning.
Yeah, and I would have yelled at you because I firmly believe that now more than ever, people need to hop on their cams no matter what it looks like, what they're wearing, whether they did makeup or their hair or not, just because I think we need that face to face contact. And as much as I like looking at that pretty uh, profile picture of yours, it's nothing like having a face to face conversation.
Oh, that's touching. But I will say, Tom, in fairness to some people, not everyone has the greatest internet connection, and some people have limits on their data. And we're coming up against that wall right now, where we all believe that technology was perfect, and suddenly we're working from home, and all those flaws are jumping out at us.
Or you're like me, and we have five laptops, one desktop, actually two desktops, five phones, all trying to go to one internet connection. It's fun.
See, so you may be making the case for why the video isn't the best thing because it
You
does
know,
chew up bandwidth.
yeah, I'm not buying that. So we just figure it out.
Okay,
But I understand. I understand that not everybody's able to do that. So that's okay. We have to
so
figure out
Tom, we
whether we have to be
we were
flexible or adaptable.
there. You go. We were having this discussion. We started this discussion before this started, and we were going to have this discussion on here. The distinction, I think, between flexible and adaptable. And if I can I just explain to you the difference in my mind?
Please educate me, Bob.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not. I didn't go to the dictionary because I don't have one in front of me. Now, people tell me you can look on your phone, but I refuse. I'm a paper guy, so I always like the written dictionary, and I don't have one here. But to me, flexible is how you respond to a situation more so than adaptable. To me, is where you are making choices. So it's whether you're the actor or being acted upon. That's just how my mind sees it. So if I'm adaptable, that means that I'm doing things proactively. If I'm flexible, that means I'm responding. If you say to me, "Hey Bob, you know what? Can we change this to 9 o'clock today?" And I go, "Oh yeah, that's fine, Tom." Versus, "Hey Tom, I'm not going to be there today, so can you run it and I'll be on the phone?" And you go, "Oh, okay, Bob." Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I think that's an important distinction for us. Where we are today is that we probably need a little bit of both. We need to be proactive and try to figure out, okay, like we were having the conversation with my kids, all right, when do you have class? When do I have webinars or online calls or whatever? How can we best adapt to the situation that we're in? And we were being proactive in figuring it out. Now if my wife got a call right now and had to get on the phone, we would have to be flexible, right?
Right. Yep. And I think we're seeing that now in homes, in especially where you have two people work, or I didn't even think about where you have college kids or even high school, I guess any school age kids, because they're all working online more and more. That does create an additional headache and an additional complication. And as you found last week, I know you were talking about the logistics of your workspace, and you did a video at one point where it looked like you were a hostage in Iran in like 1979 because of your backdrop. But I always like to bring that up, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was being adaptable and moving. Actually, maybe I was being flexible because I wasn't. No, I was being adaptable. I knew that my kids were not getting up early, and the only chance I had was to go into our bedroom and work from there. It was
Right.
comfortable.
It didn't look comfortable, but
It was
that's your
good.
problem.
It's like now I'm in the corner of our kitchen, instead of being at my desk. That's which is fine. It works.
Well, and I think this whole discussion about flexibility versus adaptable really gets at the core issue, which is things are radically different today than they were 2 weeks ago. And it's funny. I have this. You told me about this thing, QuickBooks, which tracks your mileage.
Yeah.
And I was going through because it logs it if you set it up with your GPS. It knows where you go. And I haven't looked at it since the first of the year. And I wanted to make sure I had my mileage worked out for this year because you forget where you went. So I'm going through it and I'm like, oh, wow, 3 weeks ago, I was at 4 networking events. Oh, 3 weeks ago, I met at his office. Oh, you and I did something. And it occurred to me how different everything is now because I have no mileage from last week. I don't expect to have mileage for probably the next 2 3 months.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? That's
And just that simple shift and wrapping my brain around that whole idea that everything is so different and we've got to be able to recognize it and accept it. I mean, I think that's the thing that was hard for me last week. It's like, we're going to go back. This is just a temporary thing. But here's the reality. I think this is the thing. And the other part of it is, I think where we're going to be after all this is solved is going to be a lot different.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think the one other thing that I thought you were going to go to, but you didn't, was that the key in all of this is communication. At some point, if you are able to have conversations with your coworkers, with your supervisors, with your family, you can be adaptable and you can figure it out. I think when communications break down, that's when you really have to now be flexible because you're dealing with things on the fly and trying to figure it out. And I think that communication piece is going to go a long way to figure out where are we at the end of this and what do we take away from the current situation, the current life place that we're at.
No, absolutely. I think the more we talk to people, the more we can understand it, and the more I think you and me talking each day is really good for me because it reminds me. First of all, it grounds me with some normalcy each morning, which I'm really starting to crave, and it also you keep me honest. If I go off into some bizarre theory, you'll be like, "Dude, come on, bring it back. Let's get back to what we're trying to do here."
You never
And
do.
I think we all need that. And we also this is probably the time to really just talk to people. It's funny, the people I talked to last week, some of the people I talked to, I hadn't talked to in a couple months. I just got busy and they got busy. And talking to them, it was interesting because I realized that their perspectives were so different than my own. And it was so helpful to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm dealing that with it in my house. I mean, I think all of us are at a very different, taking a very different approach to the situation that we're in. What life has us at now. We're everywhere from unbelievably stressed to me, who's trying to just sort of take it as it is, and my son, who's kind of like, oh, there's something going on. There's something I need to worry about. So,
Wow, I'm jealous.
Yeah, to be 20 and not a senior in college, so you're a junior, and like, oh, I can take classes at home, and I can kind of. It's not a bad life.
And you paid for his school, right?
Yeah, that's okay. He's gonna make him work. I know.
Yeah. How do you feel about that investment, Tom? Go ahead, tell us.
You know what? To me, education is one of the best investments we can have, and I think that experiential education is as important as the classroom. And so, that was the one thing I said, is that this is I may go broke doing it, but I want to make sure my kids have that education and a good experience so that they take those 4 years or 5 years, whatever it takes. Hopefully, it's not more than five. To then use that as life lessons to move forward, because I think you go through a lot in a 4 year time span, and you have to learn how to adapt and also to be flexible because you're going to have to do
I
a
think
lot of that.
college does that. Yep, college does that really well. It's also interesting if you think about it, Tom. There's probably not a whole lot that you could learn in college right now that would be truly applicable to this situation. Now, granted, it can give you a foundation. You've got to know, economics. You have to know grammar. You have to know all those things. And it's good to know Russian history and all that stuff. But I don't know that you could create a college course right now that would be the perfect answer to where we are right now.
No, I don't think you can learn it in the classroom, but I do believe that you learn it in the community that you're in. And that I think one thing on a college campus, they learn how to take care of one another and create community, either amongst a circle of friends, a sports team, whatever. And there's that piece of it that is really valuable and that we need more than ever now. Imagine if you're someone who just did an online course and maybe you work from home by yourself, you're going to feel really isolated and you're not going to know, well, how am I supposed to engage and communicate with the world when I've only known it one other way? And so I think to me that figuring out how to be a part of a community is an important part of the college experience, which then allows you to go out and be part of whatever the community is you're a part of afterwards.
Wow. I never thought about it that way, but I like that. So if our one antidote for today was to be either being adaptable, being flexible, or finding a community and really taking part in it, what would you say for today, Tom?
Yeah, you know what? I think all of those are key, but I'm going to go back to, what? You can't have any of that without communication. And,
Okay. Hey, I like it.
yeah, I think if we don't figure out how to talk to one another, and how to express where we're at and what we're feeling. And you're never going to be able to be adaptable or flexible. And it's going to be really hard to build community. And so, ultimately, the better our communication is, the better we're going to figure it out. And if it's not good, it's going to be challenging, really challenging.
Well, maybe, Tom, just to play off that a little bit, not to be combative, but just to have a slightly different view of it. Maybe it's not so much being right with the communication first, but doing the communication. Because I've talked to a couple of people who have kind of isolated themselves and the binge watching, Orange is the New Black or some TV show, and they're not really engaging with people. So they become hermits.
Right.
And I'm not sure that's, the first step to me would be having communications. They don't have to be right or wrong because, frankly, I'm not even sure most of the time when I'm calling people what to expect from the discussion. I've gotten everything from people being really upset to people going, "Oh my God, it's so great to hear from you, Bob," to, "Yeah, I can't afford to do anything with you right now. Why are you calling me?"
Right.
That whole, those different perspectives. And I've just got to go, "Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't really calling about business today. I was just calling to see how you're doing. You popped into my head. I've been trying to reach out to people and break the isolation." And then that leads to a discussion. I think there's a natural discussion that comes from just being yourself. Just saying, "Hey, I was just reaching out to you because you popped into my head and I just wanted to hear a familiar voice." I know for me, I've called my mother every day for the last week. I mean, that's unusual for me. I live 3 miles away from her and we've talked every day. And I know it's because little Bob is scared.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
and I don't know what I'm going to say to her.
Doesn't matter.
It's just, "Hey, Mom, how are you?" And then from there, we go organically where it's going to go. The other day we were talking about food. What are you eating? And, today we have some logistics to talk about. But I think humans will find a way to engage if they take the step to start the engagement.
Absolutely. And maybe again, if that's, not that there has to be a thing that comes out of, where we are in life, but maybe it's that we do think more about outreach. You know, it reminded me, I was thinking the other day, it was a lot like 9/11. You know, we came out of that and people were so much more understanding, friendly, aware, had empathy, you know, all of that. And somehow in that time frame, we've lost a lot of that. And so maybe this is just another reset that we need where we go back and, you know, it's not weird for you to reach out to your mom every day or for my family to hop on a weekly Zoom call or, you know, all of us
Right.
to reach out to somebody to say, hey, how are you doing? That would be a good
Right.
thing.
No, that would be a great thing. And who knows, it creates, opportunity. You learn. I was telling you before we started this, I talked to people and they gave me different perspectives on a variety of things, which is really useful. I think so often we're in that echo chamber where we're only, hearing what we want to hear and not hearing other things. And when we hear other things, it tweaks our perspective a little bit. It makes us think more broadly. It opens our eyes to things we might not know otherwise.
Yeah.
Like I was at the grocery store yesterday and I had the awareness all of a sudden that, my wife and I were buying some things that probably will take us for 3 or 4 weeks out. And that's like, my sister doesn't have the money to do that.
Yeah.
She just doesn't. And it's like, how is she going to get through this? And the awareness of just talking to my wife about that and going, geez, maybe we should think about some things for my sister and just trying to have that discussion was like, she's like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right. Yeah.
And so, we now, all right, Tom, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to interrupt us just for this. I'm in an area called Glenmont, which is about 2 miles away from Towson University. And I just saw the Towson shuttle bus that picks up students go by. Can you explain to me why the Towson shuttle bus just went by?
Unless it's picking up essential employees whose only transportation is public transportation.
Okay. Seems odd to me. That was the last thing I expected to see this morning.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe they are, lending that out to some other organization who needs to transport people. I don't know. Maybe it's a hospital.
Okay, I'll buy either of those. And I didn't mean to put you in the position to have to explain Towson University's procedures and policies.
Yeah, I
for
have
a whole host of reasons.
All right, Bob.
I heard it as I did it. I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. I don't mind. But you're just asking my perspective. That I was trying to give.
Exactly. It's just so weird because there are so few. I don't know if you've been out driving at all, but today there's no one driving.
Yeah, no. It was. When was I last out on the road? Saturday. We went for a walk, and there was, the paths in the woods were not crowded, but there were people there. But yeah, the roads were quiet, which is okay.
Yeah, and gas prices are down below $1.99, like below $2 a gallon.
Yeah, how do you afford that? That's the hard part.
Yeah. When was the last time we saw that? We were trying to figure that out over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to guess it's been 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe after 9/11?
No,
maybe?
I feel like at some point there was some reason that we dipped below $2 at some point, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
That's
well, Tom, we probably should wrap this up. I would love to talk all day. I could and I would, but we should probably call a close to this one because we've moved from all over the place to all over the place. But I think I like the takeaway, for me at least, today's antidote would be just reaching out to someone or a couple of someones, maybe even people that you aren't normally talking to just check in, to see what happens organically.
Yeah, I agree. Engage and see where that community, and it's interesting. If we engage with people and start that communication, whatever it might be, in the middle of it, we're going to either have to adapt or be flexible because maybe we have a conversation, but maybe we don't, and we need to go in a different direction. So maybe that tied it all together. You
should have been a teacher, Tom. That was artfully done.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that was beautiful. And I think I've learned something. When you are the guy who's the only person who's like visible, you like take control. I like this.
Well, trying to assert my authority. That's
it. That's
right?
it. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see who takes control then. Maybe that's the the reason to come back each day is to see who among us takes control.
Right, or then we can keep a tally on the board.
I like it.
That could at least be sport. That might go on ESPN because they've got nothing to show right now. So.
Touche. All right, Tom, you've got to do the magic. You've got to close this thing out. You've got to hit the button that says end.
All right. I hope that everybody goes out and has an amazing day, connect and engage with someone, and we will see you here tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Take care.
Bye-bye.